All right, fellas, today I'm going to show you guys how I made about 6.8K across all of my accounts. This is my Top Step Leader account. I have this one at 860 profit. I do have a little bit of a buffer built up on this, but I risk about 0.5 on my Tradecopia multiplier for most of my other accounts. Some of them a little more, some of them a little less, depending on the size and the buffer. But let's go to Trading View real quick, and let's go over what we saw coming into the day. So this is market open 8:30. And let's go to the hourly time frame, and let's get our bias. Okay, what's happening right now? This is our bias. We're obviously short. We have a bearish bias. We have a massive dump overnight. We have a lot of liquidity lower. We could still run. But the biggest thing that we wanted to see today was this hourly gap. What do we have? We have this hourly gap. And if we come down to the lower time frame, the 5 minute, let's wait. We have rough relative equals inside that hourly gap, or right at that hourly gap. So you have this high and you have this high. So ideally, coming into the day, this is what we're framing. We're bearish bias. What we would want to see is a manipulation up into this gap and then getting an inverse back down with all the clear draws lower we have. So we then come back down to the 1 minute time frame. And let's just let market open, play out, and see what happens. I think we actually had a play here pre-market. We don't take pre-market plays, but then there was an ES-SMT right here sweeping these relative equals, which you could have taken a short off, as we see in a second. But market comes down. We sweep a couple levels to the left over here, and we are also inside of a pretty decently sized gap. But if I wanted to take a long, I wanted to see it come take this level before we got long looking for reversal. So we didn't. So we actually didn't take this play, as well as if you take this off the inverse, if we watch this, look at where this candle closes. Where does your stop have to be at this candle? You need your stop to be at the swing low. That is a 140 point stop, as well as if you wanted to play a tighter stop, you could have placed it at 372 if you got a decent close. But I would have gone BE at this little internal high because it's inside of a gap and it's a little swing high where liquidity is going to be placed where market could reject from. So two things: stop had to be too big, and it took our BE before we got the entry. And if a candle takes your BE before you get the inverse and before you actually get your entry, you can't take the play anymore. We let price play out a little more. It comes back down. We inverse this little 1 minute off of this gap. So even if we got to close here, we would have got BE'd. But I think if we go to the 3 minute time frame, if we come to the 3 minute time frame, we actually are rejecting out of a 3 minute gap. So you could potentially have entered off the retest, but I still didn't want to because we still had this gap that we're rejecting from. So let's come back down to the 1 minute time frame. So if we let price play forwards from, we'll get to the first entry that we took today that we actually got BE'd on, which was this. We put in this gap right here. We're sweeping all this liquidity. We reswept the daily high that we put in that had the no wick. And it also aligns with our bias with a bunch of liquidity resting lower. So the first play we took was this inverse. We got short right here. I think we were targeting full TP was the low a day. I think TP1 would have been right here. And we went BE really aggressive on this. I'll show you where we went BE. We went BE now because what's happening? You're sweeping all these lows, or you're sweeping this low inside of this 2 minute gap when you still have some liquidity resting higher, even though I wanted to see all this get ran. So we unfortunately did get BE'd, and it actually ran about 70 points before actually reversing. So the BE did save us technically, but you still would have got 80 points in profit if you didn't go BE. But we went BE because that's proper risk management. That's what you have to do. And then we wait for price. We just kind of sat, let it accumulate, boom. Look what we got. This was, what did I say we wanted before the day started? We literally said this in our pre-market stream. We wanted to see this hourly gap get tapped. So we have all this accumulation. We have the market ranging inside of here. We failed to deliver off that initial sweep to the next level of liquidity. And so what does this look like to me? This is accumulation, manipulation, high time for repeated array with the relative equals. And then what can we do? We can look for an inverse back down with all this liquidity built up. So if we let the market play out, boom, this is where we got short. We got short on this candle. When you have low resistance liquidity like this, if it's going to go, it's going to go and it's going to flush. So if there is a smaller gap, we usually front run that gap. And we have our stop at the top. This is a protected high, a swing high inside of or where a high time frame PD array is. Let's wait. It looked bad at first. I thought we were going to get stopped out. I thought this was going to fail, but it looks so textbook. We came close, but that's why you have your stop where you have your stop when you have a protected high like that. And boom, look what we get. We get a little Drake candle. And we eventually hit full TP. This was a pretty textbook trade. I know we had a lot of drawdown, but on this one that we took today, I really felt like it was always going to hit TP. It was the dream setup scenario. You have it aligning with your high time frame bias. You have the low resistance liquidity built up. You manipulate into relative equals inside a high time frame PD array. You have the perfect inversion. Like you get a perfect close right here. Exactly what we wanted. This could not have been more A+ for our strategy. And we actually take all these trades live inside of the Discord. As you see, we have everyone that banked with us this morning. Everyone is absolutely cooking. So if you guys do want to join the Discord and watch us live trade, learn our strategy, learn risk management, psychology, just click the link in the description. And if you guys learned something new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.